with that, I completed my third PhD with Australia, in Deakin University, Australia. And in that course, I filed more than 75 patents, and publication-wise, more than 100 publications. And I traveled across at least, I think, 35 countries.
Hello. Dr. Sriraj is a scientist from a small village, Annanad, near Chalakudi in Kerala. He holds multiple PhDs and is now an advisor to several multinationals like Procter & Gamble, Amway, who manufacture pharma and nutrition products. He had his ambition to become a scientist at an age of around 9 or 10. Interestingly, it was the village library near his house that gave him his first spark towards his journey to become a scientist. Sriraj's achievements would certainly make his family, teachers, and people around him quite proud. Those achievements would inspire younger generations to come out of the shell and explore the possibilities. It gives tremendous insights talking to these inspiring people, and immense pleasure sharing those conversations with you. Please stay subscribed to Media Matanki and don't forget to leave a comment under this video. Let's listen to Dr. Sriraj. Sriraj, when we met first, you were doing graduation in chemistry at Christ College in Irinjalakuda. Now I see many international universities associated with your name. Could you please walk us through this amazing journey?
Yeah, after graduation, I started my post-graduation MSc in chemistry in Madras Christian College in Chennai, under Madras University. After my MSc, I joined immediately. I joined for PhD in organic chemistry. I think in 2007 I completed my post-graduation MSc in chemistry. Then I continued to stay in Chennai for completing my PhD in chemistry. Then in 2011 last, I joined to a pharmaceutical company in Chennai itself. And then I got married in 2011 December. I got married, so there was some reason for me to come back to Kerala. Then I joined to an MNC group known as Plant Lipids. It's a Synthite Plant Lipids is very famous in natural product chemistry. I joined as a R&D manager. Then immediately I jumped into a head of R&D in 1 year later. 1 year later. In fact, I was with the company for up to 2020 June. In fact, I resigned from them 2020 January, but I stayed back 6 months, and 2020 June, completely relieved. So in that association, I also started a company for them. It was a spin-off from what they usually produce, and I was initiating some of research activity over there, and then I continued to be their chief scientific officer. During that tenure, I also didn't leave academics. I started pursuing another one PhD in Gdansk University in Poland, in association with the Mahatma Gandhi University, and that was on nanotechnology. And when I just completed that PhD program, I got a scholarship. I got a fellowship from Deakin University, Australia, which is one of the best universities across the globe. And that was on nano drug delivery systems. So that I completed in 2020. With that, I completed my third PhD with Australia, in Deakin University, Australia. And in that course, I filed more than 75 patents, and publication-wise, more than 100 publications. And I traveled across at least, I think, 35 countries, and given many lectures. So I was at that time in 2017 or 18, I got the Fellow of Royal Society of Chemistry Award from Royal Society of Chemistry, London. Then 2020, I got a fellow of American College of Nutrition. That's based on the my work in nutraceutical domain. And from Australia, I also got a chartered membership from their body, equivalent to what we call Royal Society of Chemistry in London. The equal version is there in Australia as well. So this was my academic domain. And in that course, I also associated with many multinational companies. Basically, my domain is not just academics, but industrial chemistry. So whatever we do, it should be converting into industry. That's my domain. So in that, I also associated with companies like P&G, Procter and Gamble, Amway, GNC, all these MNC companies. So right now, I am also an advisor for Amway in US. So for their herbal or what to say, the plant-based phytochemicals, I do advising. So that's my short journey.
Wonderful. Where did the inspiration come from? I know you have been doing very good in your studies from your school days.
Right from my school days, I wanted to pursue. I wanted to be a scientist always. From my fourth standard onwards, I usually say to my father that I wanted to be a scientist rather than anything else. So that nothing came to me other than being a scientist. But chemistry, at I think when we do our schoolings, we have only science. We don't have specific chemistry or physics. I think right now my kids are pursuing different disciplines, like not just science. But I know only science and scientist. But when I was pursuing in plus two, I was very clear what I should be concentrating, because I'm not good in drawing. So obviously biology will not come to me, and I'm not that good in mathematics. So physics may not come to me that easily. So chemistry was for me very easy.
We have very limited resources in our village. I've not heard of any scientist or nothing that inspiring for that matter. Where did you get this spark from?
I usually visit our local library that we have. At that time, that was the only resources of knowledge. That time, Google was not there, or nothing was there, and even phone connection was not there. So I usually every day my this library is situated very near to my home. So I usually walk into the library and read whatever we could gather that time. It was a very small collection of science-based books and autobiographies of some scientists and stuff like that. So I usually visit that library, and my great inspiration was my father. He usually let me do whatever I wanted to do. So the moment you stuck with something, then you will search automatically uh, what needs to be done to reach that goal. And that was my inspiration. And at that moment, I usually hear from my cousins and my uncles, because my uncle studied in Christ College. He usually say that if you wanted to achieve something, or if you wanted to go to a good college, at that time Christ College was our iconic college. So I wanted to get there. And in my age, everyone would try for engineering and medicine. The moment you pass out from 10th, they will go to PC Thomas tuition center, and go for continue to try for either engineering or medicine. And that was the normal culture. Those who are coming out like with a distinction, I don't think that kind of words are there now, because marks disappeared completely. It's all grading system. So at that moment, distinction was the benchmark. And if you have a distinction, it's mandatory that you should go to PC Thomas and write for medicine or engineering. But that was not there in my mind, and I didn't try. I didn't go to PC Thomas. Just went to plus one and plus two. And then I tried getting into BSc chemistry in Christ College. And the funniest thing is, in if you go to any college, even it's same, I think now, you have to fill three options, like first priority, second priority, third priority. So I didn't have that time second priority and third priority. So my options were first priority chemistry, second priority chemistry, and third priority chemistry. So luckily, I got into first chance itself. I got into Christ College, and that was a turning point, because, as you might be also knowing, Christ is giving a lot of freedom, and and at that age, I was seeing the first time like the library of that kind, a very rich source of different authors' books. And at that time, the textbook in BSc chemistry textbook was a luxury. I don't think anyone in our friend circle ever had a textbook of organic chemistry or physical chemistry. They never had that, because that's really a big amount of money. And we usually depend on Christ College Library. And not just a textbook, the Christ Library had a lot of variety of books, which definitely giving a lot of helping hands. And uh, now situation is entirely different, because knowledge is in your fingertip, and anything you can browse. At that time, it was not at all there. So you have to depend on libraries in order to get a source of knowledge. So that was my turning point, getting into Christ College. The professors in Christ College at Christ College was extremely helpful. That they just don't teach and go. I had a professor known as T.A. Johnson. I don't know whether you're familiar with him. I still even have touch with him, and he was really mentoring me. And he usually give whatever I could achieve today. It's purely because of him. Extremely, he was like giving a lot of and usually take me as if he will not even let me do anything other than studying chemistry, because he understood that this is my passion. And that was turning point. My life would have been entirely different if I would have reached to some other college, if not Christ College.
Yeah, I remember T.I. Johnson, sir. I think he joined almost the same time when we were doing our pre-degree. You are a fellow of Royal Society of Arts. Is that science again?
So it's a society where all the science, arts, for us, what is arts is not the same with the UK. So Royal Society of Arts is a collective society with chemistry, physics, mathematics, even those who are eminent in respective regions. So that's a different society, but it is equal to Royal Society of Chemistry.
Also, there is a fellowship in innovation with MG University. What exactly is that?
I'm an innovation fellow in Mahatma Gandhi University, because I have a rich collaboration with the present Vice Chancellor, Professor Sabu Thomas. He was my mentor in my PhD program in Poland, because partial work was in Mahatma Gandhi University and partial work was in Gdańsk University, Poland. And we share almost 10 years of working together, and both as a mentor and as a collaborator. So I usually help some of the projects that Mahatma Gandhi University is doing to get into an industrial phase and commercialization phase. So I used to be a professor in Mahatma Gandhi University as a visiting professor, helping many students in doing some research, because once they stuck up with some problem, I usually help them. And then lately, when Mahatma Gandhi University started an innovation foundation for just from concept to commercialization, I was invited to be their innovation fellow. So that was my association with Mahatma Gandhi University. And then I also work as an invited professor in University of Manitoba in Canada. That because one of my work was with curcumin, that is an active molecule with found in turmeric. and I did many research. I think I have more than 60, 70 papers only with curcumin research. So at that time, University of Manitoba got a very big project, almost I think $5 million project from Canada and also from US. And that work was on how curcumin can prevent rheumatoid arthritis in indigenous Canadian population. So because this is a heavy gravity project, involves a multi-directional approach, they wanted a expert fellow from the industry to guide them in many aspects. So they invited me to be in the chair as a that project is ongoing, so it will take at least 4 more years to complete that project, because it investigate our curcumin by a Canadian university. So you can see that irony. We even don't care about all this. So that was my association with the University of Manitoba in Canada. And interestingly, I'm also a visiting professor in Dansk University, where I did my PhD in nanotechnology. So they also invited me for being their, invited professor list. And then in the past, I also associated with Stockholm University in Sweden, and Deakin University again, where I also pursued my third PhD. So that because of too many associations, I just kept pending because too many things you can't work. Because in 2020, when I resigned from my previous company, I got an opportunity to be the staff list of National University of Malaysia, where I just do research, not teaching. So in fact, I was in Malaysia, so I came back now. So that is my academic side. But apart from academics, I'm mainly focusing also in industry. Now I'm in the advisory board of many companies, one in Switzerland, Canada, in US, Amway, and one company in Netherlands. Mainly I'm focused in their advisory board and acting as their scientific director.
How do you manage your time with lots of engagements on a daily basis?
Time is difficult, but when you are getting paid for something, you're automatically doing that. And when you have ambition to do that, I don't think time is really a constraint. Because usually my time starts very early because of Malaysian time. Malaysian time is 2.5 hours ahead. So we usually have a daily call with the students who are doing the research over there. So it starts automatically. I need not manage it because now you also fix the meeting 4:30, so it is automatically popping up in our device that you have a meeting scheduled at that time. So it's like keeping your calendar by someone else, you anymore. That's a system now, because after this COVID, everything is in online. Even I am in a university in Malaysia, we don't have much personal meetings. It's all through online. So that became a routine now, so I don't have to manage anymore. People will manage automatically.
That's right, but even to read a few pages, it will take its own sweet time.
I think majority of credit goes to my wife, because she never bother me for any domestic activity. So I'm completely into this. I generally don't do anything in the home. I'm ashamed to say that, but it's not a credit. But I usually don't get time to do that. But and she never complains. And she is equally. She also does a lot of jobs. So in spite of all her job, I think woman has that capability of doing a lot of things at one single point of time, managing kids and also doing some office work. But we don't have that talent, unfortunately. But she takes care of other things, so which I need not worry about. So I get time. I usually don't complain that because when someone approaches me, I never say that I don't have time, because that is a kind of an insult that you are giving to that person who is coming to you. So I generally don't say that. if I say that, I will say in a very polite way. Of probably that is one advantage that we could gather from our our lifestyle. Uh, we all belongs to a village where we never had any big facility at that time. So we acquire that talent of
I,
managing time.
yeah, I'll come to Dr. Akhila. She's a practicing Ayurvedic doctor. Moreover, she is well known in the literary circles. She's an author. She has written a book or a couple of books.
Couple of books.
You too have penned a few books, no?
I have few books written, but that all going to academicians, not for laymen, because it's all research books. So I think I have uh, roughly 10 books with eminent publishers like Elsewhere, Royal Society of Chemistry, Wiley. But that is giving you a lot of credibility and space among all these researchers. But the fact that the common man is not getting anything out of it, because that books are very expensive. I think roughly in Indian rupees 30,000, 35,000 rupees, and the common man may not be able to buy it. Number one, even if he buy it, it's not having any benefit for them, because it's all written in hardcore science language, different chapters. So I was thinking, I did a lot of research in this natural product chemistry. So why don't I write something for the public in a local language? Because as I mentioned to you earlier, my inspiration, my knowledge base has come from a local library, which is in my village. So I thought of giving back to. But lately, I also understood it is not needed because anymore, because people are having much knowledge in their fingertip. See, when they go to Google or even YouTube, anything, they get what they want. So it was an attempt to reach out to the common people. I don't know how far it is successful, because we should really count how many copies has been sold. Not for me to, I even didn't get any, because this royalty will be not much. I just said, okay, I deduct my royalty. I don't want any royalty, but just make sure that all the libraries, public libraries, get this book, so that people will get some awareness. I'm not sure how far I am successful, because um, uh, in Malayalam, I never wrote anything. I usually write when I study, but now completely out of touch, and I am not good. How far that is, good. I don't know. But anyway, my wife said that's not that good in the language perspective. But anyway, I can proudly say that I have written that book.
Anyway, that doesn't matter. You did not mean to contribute to the literature, no? Can you talk about the book Karikutale Tanmatra?
Yeah, it's just a description on phytochemical bandwidth that we are talking about in a day-to-day life. So like what happens when you cut the onions, and what is there in ginger, what is there in pepper, what is there in garlic, and what is the process of fermentation when you prepare a dosa batter or idli batter and vada batter and something like that. What's going on in there? So it's just giving exploring the curiosity element that we have, and we used to have during our childhood days. What happens is, and why idli batter is different from dosa batter? Why can't we make it dosa using idli batter and stuff like that? And some of the toxic element, like everyone think that from nature everything is fine, it looks good, but it's not the same. Like you have also some toxic compounds in some of the fruits and vegetables that you usually encounter in your day-to-day life. So just giving, it's not for threatening, which is mainly for awareness what's happening and things like that. So it's a very small book. I don't think it is lasting 75 pages, because I usually get bored after some time. So I stopped that. So that's the thing.
That's wonderful. Are there any other initiatives that you are part of for young science aspirants?
In terms of writing a book, or
No. In terms of, say, for example, I had a conversation with one scientist, Sriparna is her name. She's in Canada. She's taking a lot of initiatives to encourage girls to become scientists. She was saying until she joined IIScr Calcutta, she did not know that women scientists existed.
that is very true.
Just
Really confidential. I never disclose to anyone. I have a consulting organization where I usually, for foreign consultation, you need to have a company so that you get the your consulting fee, monthly consulting fee to the company. So this my consulting firm started a funding program for one PhD candidate in Makandi University. So I pay the PhD stipend. Incidentally, that is a girl student who is pursuing PhD with me. I mean, I am mentoring her also with my parent university in Poland. So she is pursuing her PhD with the funding that we are giving. So, and we selected using merit. So we interviewed at least 20-25 candidates, and the first candidate we have taken for PhD program. So she's only doing research for her PhD. So we fund that program. And secondly, me and my wife is starting a research foundation in my own hospital premises, research foundation for natural product chemistry. That on the way, it will be starting very soon. Contribution to the young aspirants who wanted to pursue PhD and stuff like that.
that's interesting. So, what is the criteria? What are the parameters for someone to avail this grant?
Already this grant is being dispersed, so every month we are dispersing this grant. This is something around 12,000 Indian rupees every month for their stipend. This program is already started for an year now. It's going on smoothly. So at that time when I was discussing with Professor Abu Thomas, Vice Chancellor of MG University, how to find out young talents. So he also having a lot of resume coming in for PhD program. From there, we selected one candidate using a interview. So if someone now that program is ongoing, so anymore the funds are not there for supporting one more candidate. But usually I give my Facebook message that if I usually give only into Facebook, because not in LinkedIn, because LinkedIn means people will come from various part of the world, and we cannot support someone from US because we are not that much. So whatever we could share, that only we can. The criteria is like real aspirants who wanted to do PhD. Yeah, research.
Now, there are diverse opportunities and streams for students to pursue higher education in chemistry. But are there such career opportunities for people who have completed higher education in chemistry in Kerala?
There are because way back in 2000 and 2005, you can only look into some pharmaceutical job, or you have to get into a lectureship. So there are limited options. But now in Kerala, you have fantastic opportunities for those who are doing natural product chemistry. I mean, extraction, isolation of natural. There are, I think, a majority of the companies are in Kerala, like Synthite, Plant Lipids, AVT. All these companies want good chemists, those who are good in natural product chemistry. So that portion is well taken care of. Now the thing is that we are not getting good candidates. That's a reality. Because in Kerala, those who are studying MSc chemistry, MSc getting into MSc series itself is a very difficult task. You have to score 90% mark in BSc to get into good colleges, and then they may not, which is good actually. They may not stop over there. They will write CSIR net, or they will jump into foreign opportunities for doing research. So doing chemistry and sitting at home is not the situation in Kerala now. Everyone is getting job or opportunities for improvement. I won't classify it's just job. The opportunities for getting into the next phase of life, it is there. It is definitely there, and it is more in chemistry, in any other streams, chemistry or biochemistry. All these disciplines have very good opportunities.
Sriraj, your achievements are very inspiring. I'm just curious, have you ever had to face failure?
Many failures, no one will say. No, failures were there every time. When I completed my master's in chemistry from Madras Christian College, I had to struggle. I qualified GATE, but I qualified CSIR in lectureships. But it was a very tough time for, at that time, the options for getting into PhD in the area where you wanted to get into. So that's really a tough challenge. And I had to wait for almost an year to get into some places. There is no labs that I never literally begged for doing PhD with not with stipend, without stipend. They never permitted. With a lot of struggles were there, which that I think for anyone who is any field, let it be any field, you have to struggle, and that's a part of that story. There's nothing that probably 5 to 10 percentage may get very easily to somewhere they wanted to, but anyone, the rest 90 percentage, they have to struggle. And it is not that you struggle and came up. That is part, that is like a qualification zone for you to get into this. So I take the in that sense, because as I mentioned to you, that point of time, the opportunities that you can gather, that there is no source of all these informations. Now you have Google, just Google it, what are the opportunities in Germany, in UK or Switzerland. You get everything in your fingertip. But at that time, to get some knowledge, you need to go various places to get this small knowledge of entry. So that was really a strugglesome, but that's a part. So I don't take in that sense. It's just positive.
You just said that now there are a lot of opportunities for students who have completed post-graduation chemistry. Is there any change in the academic system so that the children have some natural taste in science?
In my opinion, that should not come. That's not just. It is there in the syllabus every time, but it is the teachers who inspires you. So teachers who is actually molding you towards something, and that's see, for example, a teacher who is teaching you, let's say, mathematics. If she's not good in that, or if she's so rough to you, definitely you will hate mathematics. So the same way, reverse also. If the teacher is so caring you for something and teaching in a very beautiful way, you automatically fall in love with that subject. So then the teacher will also tell you that this is opportunities, these are the eminent persons from this field, and this is where you can go. And automatically you definitely take that, and you don't have to mold the child in terms of money that you are going to gain. And that's a negative way of doing it, because for example, see, you become a neurosurgeon, you learn this much lakhs per month or per day, and then the child is looking only the money's perspective. That's not the right way. Science, it's a passion, and it's not just science, any field, it's just a passion, and money will come automatically. Yeah, if money is the thing that you wanted, you always get it.
Sriraj, now e-learning is trending. Have you been conducting any lectures, trainings for school, college children?
I usually give online lectures to colleges. That's the only initiative I have. It's not my initiative, but it is the only option that we have now to go for lectures. So I'm also a part of that lectures. So that is funny enough, because usually in the conferences, whether it is international or national, let's say 100 people are attending a conference, 10 people only will listen properly, or 20 people will listen properly, and others will be. But now we have an option to mute and stop video option, so you still attend the conference technically, but you don't have to. So that's a negative part of e-learning.
Could you also talk about your family? I know your brother is also a PhD.
Brother is also a PhD in nanotechnology, nanochemistry, and he also got that's a generation gap, because when he was doing PhD in Mahatma Gandhi University, he got an opportunity, he got a fellowship, a prestigious fellowship from Europe, Erasmus Mundus Fellowship, and he was in Europe for 2.5 years, funded by European Union. So he was in Europe. Then my wife is MD in Ayurveda. She is also doing a research program in Europe. So that is continuing. And she also does some consultations for Europe for medical as well as medical product developments. I mean, how the efficacy of some of the natural product and stuff on. So she's busy with that. And also she writes quite well, and I think every month one or other magazines is getting published by her some short stories. She's interested in short stories. She also published a short story collections of short stories, and then she published a novel last year. Now she's preparing for another one novel. So she keeps writing. I think I found her more passionate in writing than anything else. So that's my wife, and I have two kids. The elder one is a girl. She's 7 now, and my boy is 4. They're studying. So unfortunately, my son never got an opportunity to go to school, because when he got admitted, this COVID came, and I know majority of the people at that age never got an opportunity to go to schools. So that's my family. And my father was working in Plottayers, Perambra, and my mother is housewife. And my father got retired long back, I think, 10, 15 years. And that's family. And my other wife is also a doctorate in chemistry. So we have
A little off the topic. Was Dr. Akhila also your choice, just like chemistry?
I mean, you know how it works in Kerala. Kerala, it's a collective choice from my family and as well as mine. It came as a coincidental. You know, she was a BAMS. When I married her, she just got into MD. The MD topic was Rasa Shastra, which is herbominerals. Obviously, it was again coincidental, because that's close to chemistry. Yeah.
Much interesting, Sriraj. As we conclude, some hints about your future plans.
Obviously, any scientist will aim for more and more innovation, and I am also aiming for that. So, we only aim. Sometimes it happens more more aggressively than we imagine. So I don't know, it's going on. So we have multiple things going on now. So let's see how best it could go.
Thank you, Sriraj. All the best to you, Akhila, and everyone at home.
Thank you, Ada. Bye bye.